I was just looking for a group of people who would look at what's inside you rather than what's on the outside.
After getting married and kind of getting settled in my life, it still felt like part of me was missing.
I grew up around my grandfather. I saw the impact it had on him and the people that he was around.
I was 67 years old when I became a Mason.
The history of this place and this town were completely enveloped in this lodge.
I had come from an Irish Catholic family and never really had any interest in the Masons at all. A friend of mine said, "Jim, you need to join the Masons. I think you'll find something out of it."
I was busy with so many other things that it kind of slipped my mind, and my attention was drawn to it again when my son joined Masonry.
Growing up, the men that I looked up to and respected and tried to emulate personally and professionally were my dad's friends, and they were all Masons.
I get into like a really serious conversation with this guy. He was asking me if I knew anything about the Mason, and he invited me to come in for a meeting. Really appreciated what I saw the first time, and that's why I decided to turn to be a Mason.
I'm actually the first person in my family to ever be involved in Masonry at all. When I got here, it was so eye-opening to me. It was like, why haven't I been doing this my entire life?
Men have been finding a path to discover the gift of Freemasonry for centuries. Exactly when and how the first Masons came together is a mystery. But it is known that stonemasons' guilds were using symbols, signs, and handshakes to cement their special bond as early as the 12th century. By the early 1700s, the Brotherhood expanded to include men from other trades and professions, and the first Grand Lodge was established in London. In 1733, the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts was founded at the Bunch of Grapes Tavern in Boston. It had several different homes before the current Grand Lodge building was constructed in 1899 at the corner of Boylston and Tremont Streets. Today, there are over 230 lodges across the Commonwealth.
When a person joins a Masonic Lodge, they become actually a member of a larger tradition.
Richard J. Stewart, Grand Marshal.
It's an awareness of all of the people who come before them.
Ancient, free, and accepted Masons of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
This is one of the few fraternities in the world that has been going on for this length of time and has not collapsed or changed.
It's living history.
It still has the same core beliefs, the same core values.
Much of the ritual is the same.
It keeps us together by doing the same things my forefathers did.
I think that the Masonic rituals help us keep a focus on what truth is. We spend so much time in the modern world hearing half-truths and spin that I think it's important that we get back to what real truth is.
Brotherly love, relief, and truth are the three principles every Mason strives to uphold. By observing these principles, you walk a road that Masons in Massachusetts have been traveling since Paul Revere, Joseph Warren, and other patriots were helping to forge the American Revolution. The signposts along this path are the symbols of Freemasonry. Among the basic symbols are the two stones, or ashlars, which are found in every lodge.
The rough ashlar is the way man is by nature, with all his rough parts. The perfect ashlar, however, is what he hopes to achieve. Now, do we ever become the perfect ashlar? Probably not. But it's the goal that we have set for ourselves. And it's a very important goal in Freemasonry.
The most familiar symbols of Freemasonry are the square and compasses. These are the insignia you see on signs at the edge of towns, on the sides of buildings, and often on the backs of cars.
It's a common phrase that Masons meet upon the level and act upon the square. When you meet somebody on the level, you're on the same plane as they are, and you act upon the square. You make sure that your honesty comes through. When you look at me, you see what you've got. The compass allows us to put a circle around our life, know where our boundaries are. It allows us to measure those things that we do, whether it's in time, whether it's in experience, whether it's in relationships. Inside the square and compass, you see the letter G. It stands for geometry, and it also stands for God, because as a Mason, we believe in a supreme being.
You only have to have a belief in God. We don't care what religion.
It does not matter what you call that supreme being, just that you believe.
Just as you can belong to any religious tradition while being a Mason, you can also find your place in the fraternity regardless of your age, occupation, or life experience.
Inside the lodge, we're all the same brothers.
People who do everything from doctors and lawyers to stonemasons.
George Washington was a Mason, but so was his gardener, too.
I have people who have been in Masonry for a week and been in Masonry for 50 years.
People who are 3 times your age, people who come from countries halfway around the world, people you would otherwise never have met.
And the ability to sit down and listen to them and to learn from them only gives a greater depth and understanding to who I am.
It's just an incredible feeling, you know, to have people you'd never even met before treat you like a brother.
What does it mean to be part of this brotherhood? What makes it special?
I belong to the Brotherhood of Police Officers, which everyone feels is a very tight-knit organization, but I have never been welcomed into an organization like I have into the Masons.
It's a brotherhood that makes you feel as though you're wanted, you're needed, you're close with these people.
I was never on a sports team. I never joined the military or anything like that. So for me, it kind of fills that same role. We're a bunch of people coming together for a common goal and a common purpose.
I've served over 24 years in military service, so I feel qualified to speak about the word camaraderie. The dictionary defines the word as a bond built by a group united and dedicated to a worthy cause. To me, that reflects Freemasonry.
Can you go someplace where you can walk in and immediately go, yeah, this is nice?
When I'm here, I forget everything is outside the room, and I just thinking that that's all my family here.
Soothing for me that I know these people. I get to know I'm part of a group that accept me for who I am and look forward to seeing me whenever I show up.
We have a very old lodge, and we have a lot of historic artifacts, which we love to show and we love to use. But we try to keep in perspective that if they were all gone, the real treasures of Masonry are the Masons that came before, the brotherly love of the Masons here now, and hopefully the continuation of the fraternity in the future.
When the Grand Lodge observed its 275th anniversary in 2008, brothers from all over the world came to celebrate their connections to one another.
This is a worldwide organization. If I ran into trouble, the automobile broke down, somebody would come out and help me.
And I have met men from China, from India, from Russia, from Japan, from the African countries, from the South American countries. They find that it has the same benefits.
Each June, Masons from around the Commonwealth come together for the Grand Masters Fair. It's a time to renew fraternal bonds with old acquaintances, for family fun, games, and parades. It's also a way for Masons to keep up with activities going on around the state.
One of the great things about the fraternity is the many levels of community services or outreach that are possible. You can do it on an individual basis, you can do it on a lodge basis, and we have a number of services and programs that reach across the state. The Shrine Burns Hospital, the Learning Centers for Children with Dyslexia, the Masonic Angel Fund, reach out programs, food banks, blood drives, all of those things.
That really feels good, being able to work with other people for a project that's larger than just myself.
Showing what a group of organized men and people can do for our communities, for our children.
You begin to see the effect that that has on people, and I don't think that you can get that by going out to a club or having drinks at a bar with your friends.
When you make the commitment to becoming a Mason, you are likely to find your life changing in ways you might never have expected.
You're presented with ideas, and when you think about those ideas, that shapes the way that you act when you're not in a lodge room.
I've been evaluating things that I do in my life a lot more carefully and deciding which things I really want to keep in my life and which things I can chip away.
I may have been at times way too passionate and at other times way too logical, and I think that Masonry has shown me that there's a more centered way of living.
There was a time in my life, maybe I was a selfish person. I don't know, I'd many thought of my needs. Today, I can share with others, do for others.
I can feel more together in the family and with my wife and the kids.
I'm much more open than I used to be. I was very kind of one of those in-the-corner kids in high school, but now I'm going to events, I'm going to other lodges, I'm talking to people, which has been definitely beneficial to not only my personal life, but my professional life as well.
How will you know when it's the right time for you to consider becoming a Mason?
Becoming a Mason, it all starts in your heart. It's not just something you read about. You have to have something inside that makes you want to be a Mason.
It's up to the individual to find that inner quality, that's something they're looking for, that they're missing in their life.
It doesn't really matter when you get involved in Freemasonry. It matters that you're ready to ask to be involved in Freemasonry.
Being connected to something that my great uncle was a part of and that now I'm a part of, and hopefully my son will also be a part of.
If you're somebody who is getting tired of sitting on the couch every night, getting tired of spinning your wheels, this is the place to grow and to find out what you can do and what you can be.
If you need like a help in any way, a word, we can do anything. You just need to come down and talk to a Mason.
Teddy Roosevelt or Benjamin Franklin or George Washington, I now have something in common with those same gentlemen. We came in the lodge the same way. There was nothing that was given to him more than it was given to me. It's the same gift.